All right, everybody, let's keep this short and sweet. I believe if you should have already created your social studies folder within your Google Drive, and you should have those 5 separate folders. So for instance, mine looks like this, and hopefully yours looks the same. There are 3 attachments that I would like you to drop into the appropriate folders. And how you're going to do that can be slightly complicated. I'm going to show you what the file folders look like, and then I'm going to show you how you can access them. And then on your own, whether during some class time today or tomorrow, or on your own if you are completely remote, I expect you to get this done. So this is the first one, but anytime I have you do a warm-up for class, I'm going to want you to do it here. There's a slot for you to write the date, which for instance today is the 22nd. I also write just with numbers and hashes. This is the way I usually write it, and when I'm dating things, you'll see me writing it mostly like that. And then you can put the warm-up question, which I'm typing in warm-up question. However, when you look on your daily agenda, for instance, here's what a 7th grade looks like. But when you're looking on your daily agenda, right here, here is where it specifically says warm up. So if you look here at agenda item 3 on the example, this one says to use a certain slide. Other agenda items, like let's go with yesterday's. Yesterday's for 7th grade said complete warm up on the appropriate doc, which would be here. And don't forget to date and title, restate answer, prove your responses, or CSIQ. But these are your 2 questions. See how I highlighted them? You can literally copy them like you see there. Transfer them onto the appropriate doc, and then write your answer. I'm not exactly sure how often I'm going to be checking them. In years past, I've done once a week. The whole point of a warm-up, ladies and gentlemen, is to get yourselves and your minds grounded in social studies. So that's our purpose behind it. But please follow this format, and just keep in mind that I'm trying to set you up with the tools. Your choice of whether or not you use them, that's where your ownership comes into play. And this area that is highlighted in teal, that's just an example warm-up as far as answering the question, giving me a complete answer, and then also adding some details to it. So I've provided this in that warm-up attachment as well. For the Unit 1 notes, it's kind of a similar thing where it's an ongoing document that I'll be checking periodically just to see how you're tracking class content. I would like you to remember the date and the title or the topic. What I'll probably have you do, if you look at 7th grade, it'll say transfer something from the slides into your notes. And it'll probably tell you the specific slide that you're going to want to use. So pay attention. Sometimes it'll be that simple and straightforward. But if I was going to be doing the specific slide that warm-up says, and again, this is just an example, I would open up the slides document that's been shared with me, and I would find slide 22, like you can see here on the left, open it, which is this. There's a couple of things you could do. This way is a little bit more complicated, but you could try and take a screenshot. But a simpler way is if you have your box or your slide, if you have it highlighted, right click, copy, and then I'm going to leave a little. You know what? I think I'm actually going to completely insert a fresh box. So today's date is 9/22, 2020, and the topic is pest chart in ancient civilizations. and then I'm just going to paste it in. That's the one I'm going to choose. You can choose to either, I would actually suggest that you paste it unlinked so that anytime I make changes, that doesn't necessarily happen to you. And there we go. Sometimes, guys, you are going to want to go into the actual, for instance, let's go back. Say I wanted you to copy down some of this material. You might actually try to go in and highlight that way and copy it. But when it says transfer, that's actually your permission to essentially plagiarize my work and just transfer it into your notes word for word. Follow this routine, because when I say do your notes or transfer your notes, I'm going to be looking to see that you can follow those directions. So that is the second document that I'm going to want you to make sure that you drop. The third document is called Tools and Tutorials from Class, and it is specifically called WeVideo Webcasts. And so a lot of the videos that I'm doing, things that I want you to remember, it's on this document that's going to also be an ongoing. And so sometimes if I have a video that I want to make sure that you watch throughout the course of the year, I might paste the link like you see here into the agenda. And again, you would just simply copy it and paste it onto this list. So these are the three documents that I want you to make sure that you have appropriately dropped into your folders. Now that you know what they look like, here's how you're going to find them. Let me clear up some of these tabs here. Maybe. I'm going to put these three together. Whoopsies. Okay. What you will do to find the location of these documents, you'll go to your drive or Google Drive, and then you're going to look for the file folder that says Classroom. When you found that, open it, because that is directly linked to all Google Classrooms that you are signed into. And then you're going to specifically look for the titles of these three documents that I've just shared. So you guys can see the titles on this, so I'm not going to say them out for you. But then you're going to go through and you are going to find where they are located. And this is the fun part right here. There's a couple of different ways that you can do it. If you open the one that's been shared with you, you can go up to this file folder here and you can click Move, and you can drop it into, see, I'm not in the right spot right here. So I got to go back a little bit. But it'll take it from that one spot and it'll move it into your created folder. And so since this is notes, I drop it into this file folder. And then you just finish it by saying move here. So that's one way, is by doing it this way. Here's my way that I love, because it provides multiple locations. So once you have found the document, then you go Shift Z. And this box used to be green. Within the last week, they changed it to blue. I think that was a mistake in my opinion, but whatever. So once you get this open, double click. Then you find the folder, and then you find the specific folder, and then add shortcut. The difference between the first method that I showed you and the second method is one of them creates another location, whereas the other one just simply moves the file from one place to another. I personally like to keep my files in their original places. So if I want to drop it into another, that's why I create another document. I'm essentially making a copy of the same folder, of the same file. But then if I'm working on it through one folder, other changes will be made to the other folder. But if I am unit planning down the road, I can also find it in a previous unit that I've done. So the idea behind creating that second location is so that you can use the file for many different topics or assignments. And so that it's not just limited to one location. And then another thing you guys can do is you can type in, but this is where it's kind of a pain because you have to have, see, I would have gotten it wrong, but you have to have the title correct so that it'll be able to find it into your Google Drive. And again, I found what I'm looking for, so I'm going to do Shift Z and go through that process again. So there's 3 ways that you can transfer these 3 documents into the appropriate social studies folders. Notes are going to go into notes, obviously. Warm-ups are going to go into warm-ups, obviously. And then the tools or the WeVideo webcasts are going to go into tools and tutorials.